All right, what's going on, everybody? My name's Eric, alongside Keegan here, and I got a pretty big announcement for our 15, 16 subscribers.
Mostly Neil Platt.
I want to let everybody know, if we get to 25 subscribers, I'm going to upgrade my microphone. Finally, we've been talking about it. The snowball's got to go.
Taking that sponsorship money, that 5-hour partnership sponsorship money, putting it to use.
Right there.
Unofficially sponsored by 5-Hour Energy. They're not giving us nothing.
So what are we going to talk about?
Today, look, I want to start off with Binnington. Because it's hot. It's fresh on my mind. I know it was already like a week ago now. We missed the podcast last week. By the great introduction, Eric. Like, dude, I'm pumped up right now. I'm feeling something right now. I don't think we ever did an introduction.
No.
Dude, so Binnington online was catching heat for the way that he exited the game, which, by the way, super childish, super unprofessional,
100%.
super silly, dude. And he's
super funny.
It's super funny. He is king troll. Okay. And by the way, to get pulled and get mad at other people, that is a BinniSWAG move.
It is
BinniSWAG.
It is so funny whenever I see people on the internet get offended by something like that. It's like you can either get offended or you can just laugh and be like, wow, what an asshole. Unless you're a St. Louis fan like me, of course. I don't think he's an asshole. I think it was great. But if I'm a Sharks fan, yeah, I'm probably going to say that asshole. It's not going to offend me, though.
Dude, here's the whole thing. The whole thing is that after Binnington did that, it was 4-3.
Yeah.
Blues won 7-6. The boys were rallied because of that. The boys showed up to play for the rest of the game, and they brought it to the Sharks, and it was a back-and-forth game. It wasn't like a blowout, but the boys won. And as far as I'm concerned, that was all because of the way Jordan Binnington left the ice. Dude, he was chip on his shoulder, so mad.
It was just so boss. I hate to use boss. I just can't even,
I feel so bad for Erik Karlsson, dude, because he's got to play St. Louis like another 5 times. Like, I don't know how many more times he has to play them, but it's awful.
So it's reminiscent to me of when Matt Tkachuk used to troll Drew Doughty.
Oh yeah, and like the time that Drew Doughty just like laid underneath him as Tkachuk was soaring through the air to just wreck him.
And look at how polarizing Matt Tkachuk is. I mean, you either like him or you don't.
Yeah.
Right.
Binnington has that swagger too.
So I think it's important for every team to have one of those guys.
Yeah. It is weird that it's a goalie. And I think that's what everybody was so upset about is like, goalies aren't supposed to act like that. And it's
You know what? Here we go. Here's my thing. For everybody that's offended and upset by that, go back and watch a game from the 50s, 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
90s. And if that offends you, you won't even be able to make it 5 minutes through a game from back in the day.
And by the way, have you ever heard of Ron Hextall? Okay, that guy was mean. He was mean.
Yeah.
Mean. Yeah. So Jordan Binnington is hardly a mean guy, but dude, getting pulled, shoving a guy, punking Erik Karlsson. Dude, he went like that, dude. Poor Erik Karlsson.
You know what? And I don't want to watch hockey if it has to be politically correct. 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
And you guess what? These guys throw their bodies around. They get in fights out there. It's a game for warriors. So for a goalie to have one heated moment and do a little, blocker pump fake and then shove the other goalie. Yeah, Tim, I loved it.
If you haven't seen it, to anybody listening, John Boy Media, JOMBOY Media has a clip. He's like a baseball guy. But he has a funny little clip breaking it down. Like, he knows a little bit about hockey. I guess he played growing up, but it's just so funny to hear him like describe it. He has a super funny clip on it. So you want to get into some Maple Leafs talk. I haven't been watching the Maple Leafs a lot. I've been super depressed. They have been absolutely steamrolling the Oilers. I think it's like 7-0 over their last 2 games against the Oilers. So that just puts me in an eternal depression, and I don't even want to watch those games. I want to see Connor McDavid win every single time he's on the ice. But apparently Nylander has been coming out of his shell a little bit.
Well, it's so funny because, if you look at Nylander's stats from the past few years, they're really good. Yeah, I think he's close to like point per game. I may be wrong because I have looked at his stats, but it's been a little bit. And I just remember thinking to myself, oh, wow, like he puts up more points than I thought he puts up. But yeah, like the first 7-8 games of the season, I think he only had 1 goal. He wasn't doing a whole lot. But he still, he still looked pretty good out there. To me, he wasn't getting, I guess, the right bounces. But dude, yeah, past like 5, 6, 7 games, he has turned it up. Looks real good out there. And by the way, he's only, I think, 22. I thought he was like 26. He's young.
Is he really?
He might be 23. Yeah, he's younger than you think.
Well, and I the thing is with Nylander that sort of like I can remember I was sitting in my van. You remember when I had that little thumb?
How can I forget?
Van, the times in the van.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I was sitting in my van listening to like Hockey Central at noon, and they were like 6.9 is a huge overpayment for Willie Nylander, and honestly, they should be embarrassed that they had to sign him for that. And it's interesting because like at the time I was like, yeah, I mean it's a lot of money for William Nylander, that's a lot of money. And now is he only worth half of an Austin Matthews? That looks like the best contract on the Toronto Maple Leafs. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care. Wayne Simmons, sign him for nothing. Joe Thornton. The best contract on the Maple Leafs might be William Nylander at $6.9 million because he is an elite talent.
Yes.
What would you have to sign him for if his contract was up next year?
9.
9.5.
Yeah.
Like they're saving $3 million on them, and I think that they're overpaying Mitch Marner by $1 million. I think they're overpaying Matthews by term, not necessarily dollar amount. I think Matthews 11.5 is good, but I think they should have got 7 out of it. Like they had to get another couple of years out of that Matthews contract.
Well, and like the things that make Nylander so appealing, obviously, like you said, his contract, what he's getting paid. He would look to be underpaid. And the other things we kind of touched on already is he's young. That's
getting better every year.
And yes, and I was just going to say that his upward trajectory.
Yeah.
Again, if you look at his stats, it's like, oh no, yeah, he's actually getting better every year.
Yeah. So, and have you heard of his father, career NHLer? Like, dude, they're from a hockey family. Like, they have all the resources, all the knowledge.
You know what? Every time I do watch Toronto, if you want to talk about, we're talking about like a polite hockey player, I guess. Like, do you ever see Nylander do anything?
He's gentlemanly, man. He's gentlemanly.
Yeah.
And that I think comes from having your family. You know what I mean? It's like, but then again, you look at the Kachuk brothers. I immediately rescind.
Well, and again, I don't want to sound like, you just said like little that, edgy stuff, which I do, but I also enjoy watching guys who are genuinely respectful out there. I think there's room in the game for all.
Ryan O'Reilly.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's room in the game for your quote unquote jerks and your nice guys also.
Yeah, for sure. No, and I honestly, I don't know that anybody is surprised by them. I shouldn't say nobody's surprised by the Maple Leafs to see them doing so well. Austin Matthews, thank God he has stopped scoring goals. I do not want to see him score 50 and 50. I don't care what anybody says because that would break my heart as an Ovechkin diehard fan. I do not ever want to see anybody become a better goal scorer. I just don't want to see anybody do well because I'm petty. But Austin Matthews is still having an incredible season. And again, I'm so happy he's pointless in 2 games.
I think I like it so much because he has so many goals and he's an American. You got to love that.
Yeah, I get it.
Because I don't know that we've seen an American that young that with that kind of scoring potential, what we're seeing from Matthews.
And dude, Matthews is such a unit. He's a unit. He's a big guy out there, and he dominates the game, man. He controls the game, and like that's something that a lot of those guys don't have. Where when the puck's on a stick, when he's on the ice, and it's not only offensive zone, it's defensive zone. It's
such a good point.
All areas of the ice, he can control it.
And if Patrick Laine had more of that, like, or even a young Ovechkin. Like, I guess when Ovechkin was like the first few years in the league, he did hustle both sides of the puck.
No, Ovechkin never hustled both sides of the puck, really, until
Okay.
like they won the Stanley Cup. Ovechkin was just an unstoppable force in the offensive zone. I mean, that was sort of his moneymaker.
I guess I just love seeing that Matthews does seem to really hustle, getting the muck, the
Yeah,
muck areas. I mean, he does seem to make every shift count.
yeah.
And as talented as a guy like Patrick Laine is, you just wonder if he adopted that hunger.
Line A is so. Every time I've tuned into Columbus, because you know me, I'm a sneaky Columbus fan now, and it's like I want to. I've seen him do I've seen him make like plays that NHLers shouldn't make. Like on one of his goals a couple weeks ago, I watched it live. I think it was last week or maybe 10 or 12 days ago. He like whiffed on a pass, and I don't even know how it made it to Cam Atkinson. I have no idea how. It literally looked like me and you out there. You're on a breakaway, and I just like gave like I was looking up because like I think I'm like an NHLer, and then I shoot it off the heel, and like I do not know how it made it to him, but Cam Atkinson did the rest and scored, and I was just like, that shouldn't have worked out for him. Like he shouldn't have got that assist right there.
Wow.
Like that. So Line A is for me just a shot right now, but I know he can do better. Maybe it's who knows what's going on with Line A. But
it's so funny you bring that up because one of your most underrated lines, and so far this whole podcast thing, was when I forget who they were talking about. It may have been DeBrincat because they like talking about the Kane and DeBrincat duo.
Yeah.
And you were like, if you put me out there with Patrick Kane, I'm gonna in the NHL. And that's not to take away from DeBrincat because he is a really good player.
Yeah.
They almost talk like it's the two of them, which it is. But again, Patrick Kane can do that with anybody.
Here's the thing with Patrick Kane, and I want to talk about Kane, his 400th goal while we're talking about Americans. Then we can go to another very special American that's near and dear to my heart. But Patrick Kane, when he's out there, he's not always double covered, but you need to pay special attention to Patrick Kane. So when I say something as stupid as I think I could score out there, Patrick Kane, it's not because I even have enough ability to skate on the same ice as Patrick Kane, but I am assuming that they're going to have 2.5 or 3 defenders. And by defenders, I just mean, back checking forwards, defenders having to pay some sort of attention to him, look at where he's at, think about what he's doing. And that opens up forward 3 to get into an area in which Patrick Kane can get you the puck, which, by the way, is anywhere on the ice. Like if Patrick Kane has to saucer it, he'll saucer it over somebody's head. If he has to thread it through your legs really quick on the back end, he can do that. It's no problem. If he needs to do a 360 turnaround and feed it through your triangle, it's no problem. So like Patrick Kane can get people pucks in places that he shouldn't be able to, and that's what opens up those other players for those goals.
That playmaker vision.
Yeah, it's insane. It is insane.
He has that playmaker vision, and he executes almost every play so perfectly. It's crazy. And and again, I do think something has to be said about you still need a finisher. And from what we've seen so far, DeBrincat does.
DeBrincat's a finisher. Yeah, he can finish. He's got finish.
Because that's what we run into over there at Edmonton. Because McDavid can do the same kind of stuff, but who's finishing besides Draisaitl? I mean, who's really the play over there?
Well, and I wanna stay on this note real quick. Like it's what I've always loved about playing hockey, and like as I've gotten older, because I think when you're a kid, like you do sort of think you're better than you are because you're playing with like other kids that are your skill level. Everyone does. But it's like as you get older and like you're more aware of yourself and sort of what you do and what you can do. It's like you watch Patrick Kane do a move. Okay, let's just say it's a spinorama backhand pass across the ice. You try that in a game one time, and then you fall. There's a turnover, and the team takes it down to the other end, and they score. And you're just like, what have I done? What? I actually thought that I could do what I saw. And it's like, it does, dude. You and I both, we have tens of thousands of hours skating, like at least at a bare minimum. And I can't do a single thing that Patrick Kane does on the ice. It's amazing.
The thing is, you might pull off that spinorama move
one time, and then you think, dude.
1 out of 10.
Yeah. I'd say less than that, but yes.
Patrick Kane, I venture out and say he's almost 10 out of 10.
Yeah, automatic.
And just that level of consistency. And I'm pretty sure he could be half asleep or, blindfolded in one eye or, and still pull that off.
Yeah. It's feel out there for him. And congratulations to Kaner, 400 goals. Showtime. I mean, honestly, we are blessed.
I believe he's the 100th player in NHL history to hit 400 goals.
That's incredible. Well, and what a cool number that is. You can't ever take that away from him.
And and what can we see Kane getting 600? I don't know.
Dude, here's the thing. Like a couple of years ago, you look at his stats, and he was starting to have those mid 80s, those little dips. And then he had that one season, like 113 points.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he was 30. I think it was his 30-year-old season. And what he said is like, I stopped weight training and I started stretching, watching my diet, and just doing yoga.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
He's like, I just went for flexibility. And it's like, because his muscles don't need to be bigger or faster anymore. Because he's a feel guy. He gets out there, he feels the ice, feels the puck on his stick. I mean, the way he stick handles and moves through defenders and just on the ice, the way he skates and stuff. I mean, again, it's 100% feel. There's not a lot of muscle associated with that. He's not a speed guy. He's not gonna unleash a 110-mile-an-hour snapshot. It's feel. Like his shots, dude, they don't come off the blade 90 miles an hour. His backhander that he tucks up under the bar every time coming down that weak side for him. Every single time, that thing's not coming off his stick hard. It's just perfectly placed.
And by the way, what a smart transition for his game style to go into something like yoga. And, it makes a lot of sense. I don't know. I'm sure he has a trainer. I'm sure his trainer suggested it, or the Chicago Blackhawks, trainer, maybe. Or maybe he did just come up with it on his own and want to try it.
But he went with it.
For a small guy whose game is based around, finesse and vision, the increased flexibility is so smart. It just really is, And by the way, yoga builds like a strong core. Like it builds like a solid, tight body. Yeah, you're not getting the same kind of like workout as you do with weight training, but to think you're not getting stronger, I guarantee you he's still probably getting some benefits.
Core is about all you need for hockey. I mean, and that's the truth. But all right, so congrats to Kaner. What a beauty, what a legend. We're actually going to see Patrick Kane in the flesh. I don't want to jinx it yet. On the 15th. 15th or it's the 15th.
Live
so
hockey.
Pumped up about it. Let's not get a COVID delay.
Hockey. By the way,
thank you.
By the way, should we do a little vlog action?
100%. I've already purchased a car charger. We're going to film it. We're gonna have a little content piece. And so that'll be fun. But and because I don't know, you can film there, but I just don't want to be too like, what's up, guys? Like where I'm not doing that, but
Dude, I always get excited to go to a live hockey game, but
there's nothing like it.
This might be the most excited I've ever been.
Dude, I'm jazzed right now. Okay, so Oshie's goal, very reminiscent of the third American in a row that we're talking about here on Idiots Talk Sports. Toronto South.
South. Yeah.
So the third American or TJ Oshie, what a beauty. Have you seen, before we talk about the goal, have you seen him and Tom Wilson's pregame celebration or stretches and stuff? Have you seen what they do pregame?
No.
You've got to pull it up. Just YouTube TJ Oshie, Tom Wilson. They are so weird, dude. They're the weirdest guys. TJ Oshie gets behind him and smacks him on the butt with his stick, and then Tom Wilson will just like do something other weird stuff. They are so weird, dude, but it's the boys.
But it works because you want to talk about a couple of animals
Yes, dude, machines.
TJ Oshie plays like a Zdeno, like he's as big as Chara.
Yeah, he does.
Like he
too,
plays
doesn't he?
like he's 8 feet tall, and like he's not afraid to hit anybody. He's not afraid to
No.
go into the boards with it.
Dude,
And
he's not much bigger than me, but you're right.
dude,
He plays like a 6 foot
oh,
sixer. He's big.
I knew what you. Obviously, you're a Washington Capitals fan. I'm a Blues fan. So when that trade happened, dude, I knew what you were getting. I hated to see TJ Oshie go. I hated it. I knew he's that kind of guy that's going to fit in anywhere he goes. And boy, did he. Did he ever.
TJ Oshie, and this is like a new certification that I just thought of right here. We need to certify, guys. TJ Oshie is Ferda. He's Ferda boys, okay? He gets the boys going in the locker room. And it's like Patrick Hornquist, Ferda. That guy is for the boys. So
Yes.
when you came down here, you sort of opened my eyes up to Oshie because he was still on the Blues. And you were like, you've got to watch the guy. Like, he's a skilled grinder. Like, it's
Yes.
in a lot of ways,
Yes.
dude, he's got like I'm going to say this, and 3 people are going to be very upset with me. He's like a Crosby type, but with more physical grit, but hits more. So, he can stick handle. He can fish a puck from the boards. He just goes hard every single shift. Never knows when to let up. And he has finish.
Have you ever seen him coast?
No, dude. And that's, dude, I remember when they won the cup, like, there were probably 2 games that he was for sure concussed, like, just by not knowing when to let up, throwing a huge hit, and like sort of got up a little wobbly. And I remember being like so worried about TJ Oshie and like, oh, dude, like, his career is going to be short. But you look at him now and like, this is who he is. It's like he's been playing this way his whole life. And yeah, maybe one day when he retires, he'll be drinking, steak out of a straw. But this is who he is. It's an identity.
I'm going to go on a limb and say, when he came to Washington, he made everybody on that team play harder.
100%. He brings the boys up.
That's the beauty of having a guy like that on the team. Like, dude, the benefit that every player in Washington had to have by bringing over a guy like that, just the energy he brings is. Yeah. It's hard to imagine one player can change the energy of a team.
So his goal the other night, was insane. It was insane. Yes. So basically he does, of course he's TJ Oshie's doing like a big windmill deke or like a big between through the legs. Like, he's just doing something real flashy. And again, I'm telling you, that's not for the fans. That's not for his family. That's not because it works best. I think he's doing that kind of stuff for the boys. Like, he's doing it so that when he gets back to the bench, they're like, "Dead!" He's like, "Did you see that?" So like, that's just TJ Oshie. So he
is such like a locker room jock type.
Oh my god, dude! Yeah. Like, everything he does is for his friends' approval. Like, that's the way I look at TJ Oshie. So, anyways, when he jumps out and pokes that puck in, I mean, past Tristan Jarry, it was just like, you, in a way, you feel bad for the goalie because it's like, dude, we're gonna see that goal for a long time. Like, it must suck to get scored on like that, for sure.
It was just such a like test of will. Like, he just wasn't gonna let that defender poke the puck away from him. Like, he was at least gonna get that shot off.
That is a good old-fashioned hard-working American boy right there.
It's so funny you talk about he does it for the boys, because I just have like the thought in my head of he had to one-up everybody on this cup celebration day parade thing with the beer chugging. Like,
yes, that's for the boys. That's for the boys. That's not for anybody else, All right, so Oshie, what a beauty. Another American. And by the way, I have taken over host duties today, Eric. You need to I need to turn this back over to you. Zegras. This is the last topic that I just want to chain all these Americans together real quick. Zegras.
Is it Zegras or Zegras?
I don't know. Zegras sounds better because it's a zebra, not a zebra.
So
If you said zebra, I would look at you like this. So maybe I should stop saying zebras.
So I didn't realize he had got brought up until I was watching the St. Louis game. I think it was a St. Louis game when they played Anaheim just a few nights ago. I heard his name out there a couple times, but I didn't notice him doing a whole lot. And I don't know how many games he's played so far in the NHL.
I think it's 3 games. It's either 2 or 3 games at this point. It is March 3rd, 2021. But the reason I wanted to talk about him is like he's 0-0-0. He's not a minus. He doesn't. I don't think he has a penalty yet. No assists, no goals. But he had this shootout goal in the AHL, and then he had one in the NHL. And again, it was a different move. Like he has so many tools at his disposal that he is going to be very important. I think for the Anaheim rebuild. And he's one of those players kind of like that I'm looking at like a Jack Hughes a little bit.
I knew you were going to say that. I almost stole it. I almost going to say you're going to say Jack Hughes. Yeah, for sure.
Because, by the way, we're both hockey guys, and like understanding hockey, but that doesn't mean that we're always right. But like when you understand hockey, you know that some guys just don't hop right in and make an impact, but that doesn't mean they will never make an impact. Look at Hughes this season. Jack Hughes this season's lighting it up.
The other one I think about, who I still have a lot of faith in, and he's in a similar situation on a pretty bad team, is Filip Zadina. I think expected him to come in this year and just do great. And I think it might take him a few seasons, but I still think he's going to be great.
Is he still up with the big team, with the big club? That's sad that I asked that.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think he's doing much, but like who is doing much on Detroit? Not to bash Detroit too hard. I'm just saying, to go back to your point here, I think Jack Hughes is on the best team out of those 3 guys.
Yeah, probably.
And I think we're going to see Zegras do really well. And
Zadina this season, I cut you off.
No, go for it. I'm interested to know.
18 games played, 6 points, 1 goal, 5 assists, +1.
Yeah. So obviously,
he's 21.
You'd like to see 10, 11 points, at least. But I'm not riding. I don't ride off guys like that because you can tell he has a lot of skill. And I think for some of these guys, it just takes a few seasons to just really understand the way the game's played in the NHL.
100%.
Not all Connor McDavid who can just come in and be the best player from day one. So
yeah, Zegras is a -1 in fact in 4 games. But yeah, dude, like he's 19. He's gonna be fine. And so I don't know, just sort of watching the very little bit that I've seen him. Very skilled, and he ought to be something to look forward to if you're an Anaheim Ducks fan.
I think so. Yeah.
What else did you want to talk about? Standings, right?
I wanted. We always talk about Edmonton, so why not do it again?
The Edmonton corner. Welcome to the McDavid stroke-off session.
The 3 teams I watch the most is St. Louis, Edmonton, Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the 3 that I keep up with the most. And just from watching Edmonton play, and again, they're having a much better season so far than they have. I'd love to see them make the playoffs. But you and I talked about it before the show. I believe that a big piece that they're missing is a veteran ex-captain type.
Yeah.
Like a Joe Thornton. I don't think Patrick Hornquist was a captain because that was obviously Crosby, but he may have been an assistant.
He was.
So, and look at how much better Florida's doing. And I'm not giving all the credit to Hornquist. I'm not giving all the credit on Toronto to Thornton.
It's a piece.
But I just think it's an important piece, and especially when you have the best young talented player from our generation in Connor McDavid. I think he needs a Joe Thornton type, a guy that has a few seasons, 3 seasons left in him, that has just so much NHL, 1,000+ NHL game experience. I just think you would see a transition happen over at Edmonton for the better. That's
and I'm glad you tied in Edmonton right there because before the podcast, I said Ryan Getzlaf is a UFA, and you just don't know if Anaheim's going to want him back, and that's like, that may sound crazy to some people, but that's just like my sort of thought on that is Anaheim they have to move younger, and not that he, like, every team needs that veteran leadership, but they do have a Cam Fowler who's been there for a long time. They do have sort of a core group there of younger guys, Ricard Raquel, who are maybe ready to make that sort of next
Silverberg,
who are maybe ready to take the young guys and sort of bring them under their wing, and maybe Getzlaf is aged out. But what if he came to Edmonton on a 1-year, $1 million deal? He doesn't need any more money, but to be on a line, because I said this before. I think Ryan Getzlaf, Connor is the gas. Connor is the diesel out there.
Yes.
Like, he gets the motor going. He is the ignition. So Getzlaf is the engine, right? So Getzlaf needs that spark, but Getzlaf he's all finish. So a guy like Getzlaf out there with McDavid just gets in front of the net like a Hornquist, stays right where you need him to, knows where to go, smart enough to make the right play every time.
I just think, you cannot teach Connor McDavid how to have more skills, because he's more skilled than any player in the NHL.
Yeah.
But what a guy like Getzlaf could teach him is, again, from a veteran who's played over 1,000 games in the NHL.
Yeah.
There's always something you can teach a young guy when you have that kind of experience in the NHL. There's always something. So, and again, it's funny when you watch Toronto, and every time that Matthews scores a goal and Joe Thornton's on the ice, the celebration is like Matthews going and hugging his dad.
Yeah, it is too, isn't it?
It's just like Joe Thornton's the dad out there teaching his sons how to be better,
Yeah, how to be men.
Like, and it's just, I just think that, that would benefit Edmonton so much.
And I am honestly worried here. While we're talking about Edmonton and McDavid, McDavid does not have a goal or a point in 7 periods of hockey. I don't think that he has ever gone this long without scoring a goal. That's 140 minutes without a goal or a point from Connor McDavid. What are the Leafs doing? Is it Justin Hall, the guy who I totally ragged on a couple weeks ago? And I was like, he's not that good. I mean, he's okay. I don't know. Who's shutting McDavid down? I don't like it.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I think it's a team
What's
effort.
happening? Is he hurt?
I think it's a team effort. I think they've developed a great game plan, but you got to believe that Connor McDavid is smart enough to figure it out. Maybe 7 periods. Maybe they have such a good game plan that 7 periods is not enough time for him to figure it out. But you brought up that McDavid's been shut down before by Ryan Kessler.
The man, the myth, the legend.
So we have seen, the right type of player be able to shut down even a guy as good as Connor McDavid. So it can happen. But I just think, I think Connor's so good where he will be able to adapt and even just get better from it. I'm not worried about it. Good for Toronto.
Yeah.
I like seeing McDavid have some adversity because he will get even better.
What was that documentary that you told me about with Kessler?
It was like Through the Pain or something.
What was the drug that?
Oh, it was why am I blanking on it?
Was it Toradol?
Toradol, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, so I as soon as you said Ryan Kessler, my brain just went to because I want to watch it. Did you say you found it on YouTube? I need to
I found it on YouTube. Yeah.
Figure that out. Ryan Kessler documentary, Through the Pain or whatever that was, sort of focuses on the painkillers in the NHL, and it's a dark subject. I think we said we didn't want to talk about it on the podcast, and there we go, slip of the tongue. But
you just I think people
don't understand what those guys go through. For sure. And I think a documentary like that is important, but at the same time, it's not going to change the way I feel about hockey or the way it's played. And
Well, that's the thing. I have such mixed feelings about it because it was very insightful, very interesting, and eye-opening, but it did almost paint hockey in too much of a negative light for me.
yeah,
And I do think the game is getting cleaner each and every season. So, I do think that the painkiller use, the Toradol use, is becoming less and less. And I think we will eventually see it. Hopefully, maybe not. Maybe not ever. Maybe it's never going to be completely out of the game. But a lot of these, ex NHLers were guys who played in the 90s and 2000s when the game was still really rough. So
yeah, it's definitely less rough now. And I wanna close us out by, we've been doing this now for, it's got to be 45 minutes or more. Have you seen Kirill Kaprizov on the Wild?
no.
Oh my God. Okay, so this guy, he wears number 1, he wears 97. Could nobody tell him to, I don't know, park that, maybe find another number to wear? Because that's McJesus' number. We all know that. It's going to be retired. Nobody can wear that one day. Nobody should be wearing it now. But I will say, if somebody's got the attitude, the swagger to wear it, it's Kaprizov. This guy, dude, I watched like a skating. And by the way, when you pulled up that NBC Sports Power Rankings and they had Minnesota Wild at number 8. No, but the reason why they say yes is because Kirill Kaprizov. So he was their first round pick, I think, a couple years ago, and he had some KHL contracts the contract had to expire, whatever. His skating is unbelievable. It's phenomenal. So like I watched this little like 2-minute thing of this announcer just like, talking about his skating over and over again. This kid was on like his feet were like this. And he was just like circling around and like gaining speed with his feet like this. And it was like the craziest thing I'd ever seen. His edge work is next level good. I think we've always, Sidney Crosby sort of owned that for a while, McDavid, but start watching. If you see a Kirill Kaprizov goal, or if you can catch a couple minutes of a Minnesota game, start watching him, because Kirill Kaprizov is a guy to watch for sure.
Okay. Real deal.
100%.
Okay.
Slick out there. But I don't have anything else I want to.
I don't either, man. I'm done. Yeah.
We literally, so we only this. I just like, this was only like 30 minutes, but we have been talking for an hour and a half. So we gotta. I got some clips to sort through.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So for sure, nobody except for Neil watches this far. So thanks, Neil, as always, for watching this far. My best channel. If you happen upon this video, be sure to like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by.